Secretary Griffin and your staff and our county commissioners and everybody here today. I have voiced my opinion several times in letters to the editor and public forum. And I'd like to state right now, finally, the Republican newspaper and Friends of Deep Creek Lake have voiced a very strong advocacy for taking a stand that the state of Maryland must accept responsibility for the welfare and preservation of Deep Creek Lake. Republican writing 5 editorials regarding the deterioration of the lake, Friends of Deep Creek Lake currently circulating a petition to the state to provide state funds toward preservation of the lake and surrounding watershed. It is my understanding that they have now over 1,000 signed petitions. I have voiced my own advocacy in letters over the years. It is my understanding that Ocean City receives Maryland state tax money of $500,000 a year to replace and replenish sand from erosion and to protect Ocean City due to storm term. Why is not the state providing funds to protect Deep Creek Lake? Why are the lake access and lakefront property owners paying for the total cost of the DNR and the Lake Management Office in dock fees under Penelic that was $10 a year, and now in our association is $144? Why do lake access and front property owners have to pay for the total upkeep of the DNR buffer strip, including protecting the lake shore line from erosion and controlling state and county road storm runoff that affects our own private property as well as the buffer strip? Where are the commissioners and the Maryland elected delegate and senator in lobbying for state funds to protect Deep Creek Lake as is done with Ocean City? Now is the time for the commissioners to put forth funds to protect Deep Creek Lake and the watershed. Now is the time for Garrett County State Delegate and Senator to put forth an appropriation bill in 2013 to get state funds to protect and preserve state-owned property. Deep Creek Lake. It is time for all of the flush taxes that be allocated toward the preservation of Deep Creek Lake and not the bay. Okay.
Charles Hoffeditz and then Jess Whittemore.
Good evening. My name is Chuck Hoffeditz. I have a simple question, and it's in regard to dredging. A few years ago at New Germany State Park, there was a proposal to dredge the lake there. Did that money come from the state?
Jess Whittemore, then Max Peterson.
Secretary, commissioners, everybody else. My name is Jess Whittemore, and I'm a councilman for the town of Friendsville. And my comments aren't necessarily popular with this particular crowd, but we're on the other side of the mountain. We get the water from the lake that the dam releases, and we're a designated stakeholder in the lake, as designated by Maryland Department of Environment. We've been going to their stakeholder meetings for decades. And, you know, we're real happy with Maryland Department of Environment's involvement in lake water level. And that's, the town of Friendsville, of course, sympathizes with lake property owners when it comes to sediment and SAVs. But I will tell you this, Secretary, when people want the lake to stay high, that takes away what Friendsville has come to develop around. we're developing our town around the dam releases. I believe we get pretty much 66 dam releases a year if the drought season doesn't come in. And we have businesses that are created around it. They're becoming more and more dependent on those dam releases. 66 days of river opportunity are not much, but it's what we have. And we're a small municipality. I just wanted to come here today and throw my little piece of the mix into your consideration. I will make the observation aware to you that your Policy and Review Board has got many different stakeholders on it, but nobody other than Maryland Fisheries that's on the other side of the mountain. Nobody that's a stakeholder in the dam releases. And I think it's fair to you that you might consider having somebody help you with you. You have a subcommittee called the Lake Water Level Subcommittee and on the PRB, and I just wanted to let you know that we're aware of it and that they don't have the input that I think is fairly necessary for you to make considerations. That's it. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Max Peterson, then Alan Nixon.
Commissioner and ladies and gentlemen, my name is Max Peterson. I'm a relative newcomer to the lake. I moved up here and live here full-time since 2005. When I bought my dock and boat, there was no noxious weed at the end of it. 6 years later, I was surprised this fall to note that noxious weed growing at the end of my dock, and I know it's because it's picked up on the propeller or whatever and brought. The point that I'd like to make is I'd like to ask you to re-examine the weevil. The studies that I've done on the internet, and I realize not everything is true on the internet, seem to indicate it's a North American species. I did hear that it's considered invasive to Maryland, but I'd like to request that you folks re-examine that again. It seems like a relatively simple fix to the problem. You could do it now and move on. And finally, I support saving the bay. It's good. But there are a number of states other than Maryland that are stakeholders in that should be brought into the fold. Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, New York. And this is tongue-in-cheek, of course, let's build a dam where the Susquehanna is and let them deal with the problem up there. Seriously, we should find a way to include them in the tax base. Already has been mentioned beach replenishment. Some of that money ought to really come back to Deep Creek. We're all state taxpayers, and I appreciate your coming up here, and thank you for your attention.
Alan Nixon, then Bill and Marie Alsop.
My questions have been addressed, and I appreciate being able to attend this meeting and get the information. Thank you. I yield my time.
Thank you. Bill and Marie.
Hello, Secretary Griffin.
Good evening.
Thank you for coming. Oh. In 1946, my daddy built our cabin. And I've been on the lake. I'm sorry, I get emotional. I've been on the lake. As a little girl, I would go out in the water, jump in the water. And it was beautiful, it was clear, it was crisp. And my brother and I'd stay in the water till our lips turned blue, my hands shriveled up. I still love to go to the lake. I still love it, but I won't go in the water. It's horrible. It's full of weeds. It's invasive stuff in there. And I just get so emotional because this is my lake. Please help us. I'm sorry.
Mr. Secretary, Commissioners, I have one question that I would like to ask relative to the issues we've dealt with here today. We talk about water level, and now that Maryland has always owned the water, now that they've purchased the land, why is it we are not controlling our water level through these critical periods during the summer? If the MDE needs to take a look at the permit that they have struck with Bloomfield, it would seem to me when it drops below the rule bands during the critical periods of the summer, July, August, and September, that we would put a plug in this, with all due respect to our folks down in Friendsville. We are the ones that are suffering when it goes below the rule band, and we slough it off to the fact that Bloomberg controls that. We need to step up, take care of this, and put a plug in this lake.
Howard Janoski.